The quadratic equation is something many students fear, but the fear only seeps in when students learn more in-depth solutions for the quadratic equation. This panic comes from the beautifully detailed quadratic formula. When the quadratic formula is introduced to the unit, students forget about all the other methods that can be used to solve for the quadratic equation. Students need to realize that there are multiple ways for solving for the quadratic equation, such as using factorization, completing the square, graphing, and the quadratic formula. Each method is important in its own way, and each method serves a purpose depending on the function of the quadratic equation. Therefore, I have constructed a lesson plan on each method that is unique and can create a connection with each student. In this unit, students will be able to make the connection that the Pythagorean theorem is similar to the quadratic equation by watching a video on BrainPop. Students will be able to solve for the quadratic equation through the use of factorization. They will be introduced to the FOIL method. Students will then be able to solve for the quadratic equation through the use of completing the square. They will translate their knowledge onto a comic strip found on readwritethink.org. Students will apply what they learned on completing the square and use it to derive the quadratic equation into the quadratic formula. They will compare their method to the one found on purplemath.com. Students will be able to solve for the quadratic equation by graphing. They will be able to plot a chart, name and list key coordinates of the graph. Students will then create their own parabola that will closely measure to a famous suspension bridge. To meet each learner's needs, I have created specialized lessons. First, we will begin with the visual learner. Visual learners will be using programs such as Paint-It and online mind maps to help them organize the different components of the quadratic equation. Linguistic learners will use online tutorials such as purplemath.com and coolmath.com to help them learn how to graph quadratic equations. For this assignment, students will first hypothesize the equation, and they will then go on to webgraphing.com to test for their hypothesis. Logical learners will process the information provided by the use of a smartboard during lecture. They will take notes on the different components of the unit plan. A bodily kinesthetic learner will be able to move from module to module during a PowerPoint gallery walk. Musical learners will be able to use their creativity to write a song about the quadratic formula. Here is an example.
Try all of the math I possibly can. I want to be on the cover of Math magazine, smiling next to Miss Morgan as I'm seen. Oh, every time I go to trick, I can't solve problems small or big. Yeah, the quadratic formula is difficult to solve all by myself. I might damage my health. Yeah, x is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Yeah, all over 2a. Now you might just get a better grade. Yeah, you might get an A, and this song will be the new rage. Yeah, if you learn this quadratic part, you may be city pro hockey smart. Yeah, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac happens to be all over 2a. Hey, every time I go to trick, what you do, what you do? I now solve problems that are big. Yeah. A different problem every night.
is a rap song about the quadratic equation. The interpersonal learners will participate in a number of class assignments such as Who Shares My Function, in which students will have to find another student who shares their function. They will also participate in online social networks such as Blogger.com and Twitter to document their learning experiences on quadratic equations. Intrapersonal learners will be able to take online quizzes that will give them direct feedback on their answers. They will also construct a newsletter and telling all the great facts about the quadratic equation. Naturalist learners will conduct an online research on famous suspension bridges. They will then select a bridge that emulates the parabola and construct a quadratic function that fits the figure of the parabola. Teaching in the 21st century has revamped John Dewey's philosophy on education. As the years progress, educators' attention is to adapt to each student's different learning style, whether it be logical or naturalist. Our focus as educators is to engage the students' modality into the atmosphere of learning. In today's modern society, we must implement the use of technology. Today's students are digital natives. Technology is second nature to them. Therefore, when a lesson incorporates the use of technology, it sparks their interest. Lastly, the use of technology such as social networks, Twitter, and Facebook is able to draw the attention to multiple intelligence. Technology in the 21st century is like what music has been able to do for years, connecting all different faces of society together. To finish this presentation, I will leave you with a remake of Journey's Don't Stop Believing.
X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. It's all over 2a. This is the quadratic form.